corks, capsules, labels, bottles.
Capsules, there isn't one there.
No, I just stripped it right off. That's how I do it if it's loose enough. They're all different. There's a lot of changes that have been going on. Cork, old school, the original. But then there's a synthetic cork. There's no cork in the form of a screw cap. There's even the Zork.
Yeah,
I've heard of.
And there's glass stoppers.
Stoppers.
Yeah, they're like a little bit comes down and then a little bit goes on top like a bar top.
Right, and then they just seal it.
Theoretically, it seals it. I haven't. The jury's out on that one.
And then I've seen some where they're just leaving the capsule off, because I'm like thinking to myself also, what's the point of the capsule?
The original point was to keep dust out and to keep, if it covers the top of the cork, they had bugs in the cellar that would bore into the cork.
Ah, okay.
And so that kept dirt out of it, it kept the bugs out of it to some degree. And if it leaked, you didn't see it right off the bat, so you'd already bought the bottle by the time you saw that.
Yeah. What do you think about capsules in general? Because we have some Copan that has this capsuleless.
I think they're more for artifice, more for marketing.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, but they're pretty. They're attractive. They're part of the package.
But it's the cost. You gotta get rid of that cost. Lower the cost.
Yeah, it's only about 17 cents a capsule, so it's not too bad. The cork itself, that's 40 cents. That's a lot.
40 cents.
Yeah.
And you can't reuse the cork, or is this taken back and shredded?
They'll make it into bulletin boards if you did recycle it. Yeah.
Okay,
It would just
so
be ground
recycled.
up. Yeah.
So what do you think, Carolyn? What do you think about cork versus all the ones we talked about versus screw cap or Zork?
I'm a cork girl, except for short-lived wines that you don't expect them to mature in the bottle. So something like rosé, I put a screw cap on because I want to stop time.
Right.
To me, even though the screw cap salespeople are saying that the liner of the cap, if you turn the cap over, and there's a little white plastic, what they call liner, inside the cap, so it's not just bare metal sitting on the glass.
Yeah.
That's supposed to allow a tiny bit of seepage of oxygen so that the wine will mature.
Like
I don't think so.
Okay. So in a rosé, maybe a rosé, Gewürztraminer, something younger.
Fresh white wine. Maybe even a very light red wine that's meant to be drunk soon, like buy it in the grocery store and take it home and open it that night or within a week or two.
Okay.
They're going to age quite well. I mean, they will hold a long time under a screw cap, but they won't improve.
They won't
My
transform
wines
over
need to
time.
improve.
Okay.
Yeah, when I put a cork in a bottle, this wine has changed so much in a year and a half or two since it's been in the bottle. It's amazing what it's gone through. It was shocked and closed in, and then it opened slowly. A year and a half now, I'm willing to sell this wine because it's finally showing itself. And that's because in the cork itself, there's little holes, those little cracks and stuff, those are called the lenticels of the cork. They entrap a little bit, just a tiny bit of air as the cork goes in. And there's, at the top, here's the fluid up to here. There's a little headspace, about a finger width of headspace right here. And that should be vacuum. When you put a cork in, the corking machine draws vacuum out. So that otherwise, if there was air in there, cork would pop right back out again. So that little bit of vacuum holds the cork in. And when you put it in the bottle, it's about half again that diameter, maybe a third again that diameter. So it'll be harder to pull out. So also, the longer you leave it in the bottle, the easier it is to pull out.
Okay.
And it will allow just a little bit of oxidative changes, which are very good. They allow the tannins to soften, allow the aromas to develop and come out and mature.
Is there a cost difference to the winemaker, to the winery?
Oh, yeah.
Is it more expensive for corks?
Yes, corks, you can get them as cheap as about, I'd say probably 25 cents a piece. And then there are really, to my mind, bad corks that are called twin disc. They have a clean disc of cork with chopped up cork in the middle and another clean disc. And that's, theoretically, you only are giving the wine a clean surface instead of a ground up one.
Right.
And I can taste the glue. When I've done it, I've done trials stone blind. I have no idea what I'm tasting. Same wine bottled with a twin disc cork, or a chopped up cork, or a synthetic cork, or a natural cork. And I hands down prefer natural every time. And I can taste a little bit of a resininess from the glue that's used in the cork.
Wow, that's an experienced palate there. Okay, great. So in wrapping it up, basically we have so natural corks make more sense for wines you're going to lay down and want a little bit of age on. A little bit of age maybe be something more than more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's
more
good.
than 2 years.
Good
Screw
call.
caps, safe bet for rosé, for stuff really bright and fresh. You're gonna want to drink right away, very young.
Right.
So
there are some
within a
people
couple
that
years.
the synthetic corks, unfortunately, are still a little unproven because the first ones that came out, it's a plastic, and when you make the cork, you blow it into a mold, and that blowing actually has an agent in it that is an oxidizer, and it blows it up to fill a mold. And so that blowing agent actually turned out to be an oxidizing agent that made the wine oxidize really fast.
Oh no.
So there were trials done on a Sauvignon Blanc by a well-known local winery, and they had natural cork and synthetic cork side by side on the exact same wine. And 2 years, maybe 3 years after bottling, the synthetic cork was oxidized up the wazoo, and this wine was holding well, the natural cork. So they switched. They went back from doing all synthetics to doing naturals. And the other problem with synthetics is you can't get them back in the bottle to stopper it up and take it home. Lay it down in your refrigerator. Doesn't happen with a synthetic. You can't use some forms of cork removal systems very well. Like some cork pullers won't go in to a synthetic cork. So you have certain systems that just don't work. And I think the synthetic cork is one. But they haven't ironed out all the details. Maybe there's a few that I haven't tested yet that are still doing okay.
So that's our version of corks and the differences in corks. We'll talk at some other time about bottles and labels and all kinds of stuff like that. Otherwise, drink lots of wine. Enjoy your life. Cheers.